in this technique, I'm going to show you how to create your own custom piping for any project that you have in your arsenal and are ready to tackle. The first thing that you're going to need to do is, in your accessory kit on the Baby Lock Jazz 2, is the zipper foot. And when you look at the zipper foot, you'll see that it has a center portion, which is the toe, and then there's a bar that goes across. And what that does is that allows you to attach it on the left or the right side. We're actually going to attach the zipper foot to our machine on the left side. And what that means is that the toe will sit to the right of the needle. The next thing that we're going to do is make sure that we sit on that straight stitch. And then we're going to adjust that stitch length to 2.5. And I want you to set your width at 3.5. Once we get our fabric and our cording underneath the foot, we will probably have to adjust this just so slightly so that the needle hits next to the cording. The next thing that we're going to select is that needle stop down position. That is very important when you're creating piping because you're going to be doing a lot of positioning of your fabric. So I have my fabric strip cut, and I always cut bias strips, and this is my cording. So I'm going to place my cording in the center of my bias strip and just wrap that bias around my cording. My next step is to place it underneath the presser foot. And what will happen is on the back side or underside of the zipper foot, there's a groove, and that's actually where that cording sits. Now, what I do is I always wrap my fabric around my cording, and I'm probably down to, I'd say, the accessory tray. I'm going to drop my needle down because I want to see where it sits in relationship to that cording. And I'm just took a couple stitches, and I'm looking at that thinking, I think I want that a little bit, meaning the needle, a little closer to the cording. So I'm going to take my needle out of the fabric, and I'm going to adjust that stitch width position to 4. Now you want to do that, meaning adjust that position with your needle out of the fabric. Do not adjust that position with your needle in the fabric. I'm going to take that needle back down, and if I look at it, that's a little closer to that cording, and that's really where I want that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch down the entire length. And again, always setting up my fabric and cording prior to it getting closer to the toe of the foot. I think that that is probably the key to success when you're creating your own custom piping. And I just keep stitching to the end, making sure that at all times that cording is sitting underneath that groove. And you can see having that needle stop in the down position helps as I position while I'm stitching. And I actually put cording or custom piping in a lot of things that I do. I think it adds a little bit of that custom detail that you don't get anywhere else. And as you can see, the steps to creating it are really simple. You know, several keys are, for me, it's the zipper foot and that needle down position and being able to adjust the needle. So we're at the end, and let's just take a look at our cording that we created, or piping, excuse me, that we created on our Baby Lock Jazz 2. Stunning. That needle is exactly where it needs to be to make that cording really pop on that fabric, and that's what you want when you create custom piping.